Ako urong dito, and I said I would stake my honor, my life, and even the presidency.
Attention, the presence of all members of Congress. So in deference to that, the President is not calling special session. Number two, I would like to read the joint statement of the members of the Cabinet on the House resolution asking the President to reconsider the appointment of Secretary Diokno, as well as in the matter of his appearance and the manner by which the members of the House conducted the question hour. This is the joint statement of the members of the Cabinet. Actually, they submitted separate letters, but this is the gist of all those statements. It is incumbent upon Congress to accord utmost respect, show sobriety, and observe the demands of ethical refinements when inviting officials from the other branches of government in their committee hearings. Officials are invited as resource persons to shed light on issues of national concern that our lawmakers hope to hear and understand. Akin to when the palace calls on the honorable leaders and members of Congress, the executive branch must show them courtesy befitting their positions, as has religiously observed before. The palace accordingly hopes that there would be no repeat of the recent incidents in the House of Representatives involving our Department of Budget and Management, DBM Secretary Benjamin Diokno. This unparliamentary behavior has no place in the hallowed grounds of Congress, where members are referred to as honorable as they represent their districts or sectors. There is no honor in browbeating a fellow worker and officer in government. We will not allow a similar incident from taking place. If you want specific, certain, pertinent portions of the statements, I will read to you certain salient points. From Secretary Carlos Dominguez. To use the congressional process to bombard Secretary Diokno with preconceived questions and answers in aid not of legislation but of persecution, and excoriating him with baseless allegations is a mockery of standard democratic procedures. The fact that the resolution was swiftly approved and submitted the day after indicates that the series of acts was politically motivated and reeks of power play and ill purposes. From Secretary Ernesto Pernia. We have carefully examined the records and conclude that Secretary Diokno's actions have all been legitimate and in the interest of the nation, and we believe in and vouch for Secretary Diokno's honesty, integrity, and competence, and we stand by him and trust the wisdom of the President. From Secretary Tugade. We have witnessed the disrespect and utter lack of courtesy displayed by members of the House of Representatives toward the Department of Budget and Management Secretary Benjamin Diokno. The congressional resolution urging a reconsideration of the DBM Secretary's appointment is a sheer violation of the separation of powers on the basis of seemingly bias and hastily called question R. From Secretary Bernadette Puyat has the same message. She stands by Secretary Diokno and she vouched for his integrity and competence. Likewise, coming from Secretary Fortunato de la Peña. Secretary de la Peña is also outraged by the manner by which Secretary Diokno underwent a grueling that is not deserving of a member of a cabinet and also that of members of Congress. Also, with respect to Secretary Ramon Lopez, the same message is addressed to the President. He also vouched for the competence and integrity and honesty of Secretary Diokno. As we have repeatedly said, while we respect the independence of each branch, it is elementary that these branches must accord respect to each other. And the golden rule always apply. What you do not want others to do to you, do not do unto them. Every time members of Congress are invited by the President, or when they make courtesy calls, they are accorded due respect. And so we, of course, demand the same respect when they invite members of the cabinet, and for that matter, any worker in the government. Thank you.
Thank you, Presidential Spokesperson, Secretary Salvador Panelo. MPC question. Celerina.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Sir, you have mentioned
Afternoon.
that... good afternoon. Oh, good afternoon. Sir, you have mentioned that the palace would not allow similar incident from taking place again. How?
How? Well, we have many options, or let's say two options. One, we will decline any invitation if we feel that they will be repeating the same kind of treatment that a member of Congress would suffer in the process. Number two, we will go there if invited, but the moment any sign of disrespect is given a member of the cabinet, we will excuse ourselves and beg leave from the committee hearing.
Sir, apparently it was House Majority Leader Andaya who became disrespectful to the Budget Secretary. Do you think there's a need to somewhat come up with a disciplinary action against him by the House?
Well, this is the judgment of the members of Congress. That's without our domain. That will be the function of the Ethics Committee.
So regarding the budget, during the past 2 years, the Congress was able to pass the GAA on time under the previous leadership of both houses of Congress. Under this new leadership, do you think it has somehow an effect? It has an effect on that failure to pass on time the budget, the one for 2019?
Well, they have their own reasons why there was a delay in the approval of the budget. What is important to us is that we did our duty, and the failure is not on our part, but on them.
Is the palace disappointed with this failure to pass the budget on time?
Well, certainly, because we thought since we submitted the budget on the first day, when we're supposed to have 30 days within which to submit. We are, of course, disappointed that it did not pass as expected.
Do you hope that this would not happen again in the coming years?
Well, I hope so, because a lot of services will be affected.
Thank you, Celerina. MPC. Virgil.
So did the Senate or Congress for that matter give a commitment as to when they could pass yung national budget for next
No,
year?
they did not. But I suppose they will, when they convene in first week of January, they will be tackling that.
Yes, sir. So, Secretary Diokno ulit, does the palace share the opinion of the other cabinet secretaries that the resolution calling on Duterte to fire Mr. Diokno was swiftly approved and submitted the day after, indicates that the series of acts was politically motivated and reeks of power play and ill purpose?
Oh, yes. In fact, I already made that statement prior to the statement of the members of the cabinet, that we are, let us say, we're dismayed by the House resolution.
Virgil. Any question? Okay, Tina, please. Mike, please. Thank you, Pia.
So, sir, is it safe to say that the stand of the cabinet, that the president also echoes the stand of the cabinet? What's the official stand of the president regarding this issue?
Yes, it's the same stand of the president. The president, if you recall, the president has already made statements on that he will not allow any member of the cabinet or any member of the military or policeman, officials who are invited in a committee hearing to be treated with disrespect. After all, we're all workers of the government and under the peril of the people of the Philippines.
Sir, what are the expectations of Malacañang now from the members of the House of Representatives regarding this?
Well, I suppose, having said our stand, they would know at this time that we will not allow any further disrespect to a fellow worker of government.
Does that mean they should toe the line of the executive?
No, they should exercise the demands of ethical refinements, meaning to say, we should be exercising courtesy and civility with each other in the manner by which we perform our constitutional duty.
Thank you, Tina. MPC. Joseph.
Sir, just for just so we don't assume, what
But
were
in fairness to the members of Congress, as pointed by one of you, it was only one or two that made the behavior of disrespect. And I suppose not all of them agree by the way Secretary Diokno was treated.
Having said that, sir, just so we don't assume who the palace is referring to, can you describe and cite instances where a specific congressman may have been disrespectful in his manner or her manner of asking the budget secretary?
The way the questions propounded by a member of Congress, Andaya, we saw the video in the news, and we saw how arrogantly he threw questions at Secretary Diokno and how he mocked him.
All right, sir. Are you interested in looking into the original allegation that Congressman Andaya inserted certain projects that are not that did not go through the DPWH channel in the preparation of the budget, meaning the DPWH is saying this is not part of the program and it's just the Congressman Andaya's proposal. There are projects like that. Are you interested in looking into that?
What do you mean?
All right. In the budget process, the DPWH comes up with the programs, yes?
Yes.
And then that's what you submit in Congress.
Yes.
Now, when it reached Congress, some congressmen, for lack of a better term, maybe inserted certain projects that may not have been included in the DPWH level. All right, for example, specifically, 1.9 billion from Congressman Andaya, I think, sabi ng DPWH, it wasn't part of our proposal. Meaning it is on the initiative of Congressman Andaya. Are you interested in looking into that insertion?
I think the members of Congress should be the one interested in looking at that, because that is precisely their function, to scrutinize and to review the budget. That is their job. If they have any complaints on the way the budget was submitted and they feel that there were some misalignment, then it's their job. As the president says, do your job. Because Congressman Andaya was saying that he showed it to the president, do your job. When the president says that, do your job as member of Congress, not in the process of doing your job, you're going to disrespect a fellow worker of the government.
Okay, so yun muna, sir, and probably shift the topics later.
Okay. Thank you, Joseph. MPC, any question? Other topic? Doon muna. Bago tayo mag-other topic, doon muna tayo sa, sa issue.
Sir, how do you describe now the relationship between the palace and Congress, specifically the House?
I think it's still cordial. Hopefully, these incidents are isolated and it will not be repeated. I think it will not be repeated.
Okay. Thank you, Salarina. MPC, shift tayo sa ibang topic muna. Okay. Joyce, mic please. Salamat, Pia.
Sir, nag-agree po ba ang Palace dun sa version ng House sa pinasa na lang third and final reading ng charter change? Sabi po ni Consultative Committee Chair, former Justice Renato Puno, it was a disaster. The version of the House of Representatives is a disaster to our democracy kasi may mga tinanggal daw po doon at hindi yun yung version na sinubmit ng CONCOM. Do you agree with what the House passed?
As far as I'm concerned, there is a need to submit drafts in Congress with respect to revisions or amendments to the Constitution. And these drafts must be reviewed, must be consolidated, and get the best of the provisions in each draft. And then they should make a common draft. Otherwise, those who submitted one draft will be complaining. I understand there are many drafts submitted to Congress because there are groups. They disregard all? Well, they should not disregard all. I think one does not have a monopoly of ideas or on amendments to the Constitution. In fact, I have a suggestion. If it's feasible, all the drafts, there are 3 or 4, should be submitted to the people and let the people decide which draft is good for them.
Sir, an example lang po dun sa hindi pinag-aagrihan ng CONCOM. May mga tinanggal daw po na anti-dynasty provision dun sa House version. Do you agree with that?
Let me just repeat what the President said in one of the cabinet meetings. Should Congress introduce amendments to the Constitution when they meet as a constituent assembly, and it is against the interests of the people, he will campaign against the ratification of that proposed draft of the Constitution.
So, sir, sa process pa lang na to na, well, may antayin pa namang version sa Senate, are still positive, sir, na at least yung version, salient provisions dun sa version ng CONCOM ay may include pa rin sa final version?
I think so. At this time, it may be premature to judge members of Congress on the draft. It's not yet final. They can always reconsider, they can always review. Mahaba pa naman ang panahon eh.
Sir, given itong version ng House, ano yung expectation ninyo sa version naman ng Senate para at least mabalanse yung
Now,
differences?
I do not know of any. I have not seen the draft of the Senate. Hopefully, the assumption is all of them will be working for the benefit of the people. After all, that's the very reason why they're there.
Pero sir, sige, categorical, na lang, do you agree or not dun sa version ng House ng Chacha?
The problem is I haven't seen the draft. I have to see the draft, and then I'll tell you. You have a copy of the draft?
Thank you.
Well, I don't have a copy. Have you read it, Joseph?
Okay, Joseph, follow up.
All right, so regarding the charter, no? All right, the president in his campaign wants a federal form of government, no?
Yes.
And that's why we have the consultative committee, that's why you have the campaign. Now we come to the House that has devoted, out of the maybe 47 pages, only 2.5 pages on the federalism shift. It didn't say what kind of federal states we're going to create and how we're going to. It says how by petition we're going to create federal states. But the point is, Chief Justice Puno is saying this is not federalism. This is falsified federalism. The question now is, because we have that kind of House bill that was passed in Congress that goes against the intention of the president, what are we going to do about that version? That is a falsified federalism as claimed by the chairman of the consultative.
Has the draft of the House been approved on third reading?
Yes, sir.
Well, I hope Congress should listen to former Chief Justice Renato Puno and open themselves for amendments. They should reconsider. Otherwise, there might be the danger of people rejecting the proposed amendments to the Constitution, and then that would be a waste of people's money.
I guess that's enough. Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Joseph. MPC. Secretary, balikan lang natin sandali yung question hour kay Secretary Diokno. Viber question from P.R. Aniada. How does Palace define disrespectful behavior? Is merely making allegations already an act of disrespect?
It's not making the allegations, it's how you deliver your allegation or question. I think this reporter knows what we're referring to. And by the way, Reza, in one of, or I saw her interview this morning, she was complaining about PR not being, or being barred here. And she says that it's unconstitutional. First, we said that coming here in the palace is a privilege. And there is certainly rules that should be followed by members of the Malacañang Press Corps. And number two, even if Pia was disallowed from coming here, the fact is, as you just saw, she can still ask questions and we're still responding. She can still cover. Nothing has changed except her physical presence. And on the matter of the theory of RESA that it is unconstitutional. If that is true, I'm wondering why she has not challenged this stand by the palace before the courts, since the incident involving a Rappler reporter has occurred several months ago.
Thank you, Secretary Panelo. MPC question. Pia, then Joseph.
Sir, is the palace aware of the recent arrest of the son of Bucor Chief Nicanor Fealdon because of drug charges?
Oh, this is the first time I've heard of that.
Sir, si Fealdon vowed to resign should his son be proven to be involved in illegal drugs. How is the palace taking that offer? Offer for him to resign, sir.
Well, that's a principled stand, and he should be commended for that.
So, sir, itong si Nicanor Fealdon Jr., he was arrested in a he was arrested in a house in Naga City with another drug suspect. Can we get an assurance, sir, that charges against Fealdon Jr. will be pursued?
Oh, I'm sure if the evidence warrants, the police enforcer will be filing appropriate charges. We don't know yet what exactly happened.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Pia. MPC? Other topics? Other matters? Tina?
Sir, baka lang may information or details nung further instructions given by the President to the AFP and the PNP during their last command conference the other day.
I have texted Secretary Lorenzana, but he has not responded. I was asking what I can get to you, because I was not present during the command conference.
How about from the side of the President, sir? Baka-
We will issue a statement. We will be seeing the President soon regarding that.
Thank you, Tina. MPC? Wala na. Happy weekend. Maraming salamat, MPC. Pahabol. Joyce.
Sir, sa speech ni President kahapon, sinabi niya hindi siya attend ng mass sa Eastern Samar after the turnover of the Balangiga Bells. Tuloy yun, sir. And what would be the activities of the President tomorrow?
He will not attend the mass because I think he has never heard mass, as he says. He has heard all the masses in the world. So he won't be attending, but he will be there.
So ano po yung pinaka magiging participation na lang ni President during the event?
Or the turnover, he will be turning over the Balangiga bells. Oh, and remember he said that nobody should be credited?
Yeah. So you're revising your statement.
Because I was, no, he was not crediting himself. When I made that statement, I was crediting him for that. But anyway, with respect to that, let me issue this statement. The recent remarks of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte disowning credit for the successful return of the Balangiga bells to the country after more than a century outside of Philippine soil highlights the style of the chief executive, action-oriented and no-frill public service marked by humility. The President's statement shows his sincerity in upholding sovereignty through the use of diplomacy as a leverage to achieve what the country rightly and truly deserves. It bears stressing that all of PRRD's actions are based on the constitutional address to him to serve and to protect the people. nothing more, nothing less. He gives credit to all Filipinos under this administration, and it is our desire as a community which motivate him performs his best. While we act in accordance with the President's actions, he acts pursuant to his. And to, of course, the public's always interest and welfare.
With that,
But the fact remains is that many have tried, and it was the President's call that triggered the series of meetings that finally resulted into the coming home of the Malacañang bells. But this is not to say that the attempts were all futile or futile. To us, it was just like a ladder. It was steps that finally reach the pedestal. Right now, I talked to him about it, and he said, "It's so cold there. I really can't stand the cold." He has not said he's going, but he's considering. He's still studying. Pag-aaralan siguro. Tingnan natin.
okay, Joyce, may pahabol na tanong.
Follow up.
Oh,
Sir,
follow up.
dun sa first statement ninyo nung Wednesday, you said that President Rodrigo Duterte has pressing matters of governance na kailangan niyang unahin. That's why he first decided
Yes.
to snub or at least not attend the Malacañang Bells turnover ceremony. Ano yung pressing matters of
Ang
governance?
dami.
sir?
There's so many events to attend to. There are so many documents to read. There are so many places to fly to. There are so many documents to sign. Ang dami. Ang dami siyang trabaho.
So wala
But
naman-
because of the persistent requests by all sectors there in the Eastern Samar, he finally reconsidered. Punta na lang siya. Medyo nireschedule niya lang yung mga activities niya.
Wala naman, sir, parang one big event that he has to go to or a very pressing
Actually,
matter na
very
isa lang.
tight kasi yung schedule eh. Sunod-sunod. Parang nabugbog masyado.
Okay, so, nung nilabas po ng palace yung statement na yon, paano po nakarating kay President Duterte yung demands
Oh,
pa rin for his
immediately, ang
presence?
daming tawag to me and to many members of the cabinet, so we had to tell the president.
Who called, sir?
Marami. Kung sino-sino mga opisyal dun sa Eastern Samar.
MPC, happy weekend. Happy weekend, MPC.
All right.
Una.
Thank you.
Maraming salamat, Presidential Spokesperson Salvador Panelo.
Nasaan yung ano?
Back to studios of Radyo Pilipinas and PTV.
Yung mga letters na bigyan nila, bigyan na sa kanila. Pito yata, 8. Marami pang darating nga doon. Yeah, bigyan mo siya. Bibigyan sa'yo lahat.